Have you ever noticed that when you say you want to enjoy one stress-free weekend, you're pretty much not going to get it? Well, that's what the Loud family found out in the episode I'm going to talk about today. So join me as I, SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, bring you another retro review from past seasons of the Loud House. Cue the intro! Today's episode is Sweet and Sour. In this episode, the kids accompany their parents to a spa resort for the weekend, but their promise to behave doesn't last very long. I know a lot of people really like this one, but honestly, I don't think it's that great. For starters, I think it's safe to assume that parents already knew what would happen if they brought their kids to the hotel, and that's why they were saving all that money just for their own private getaway. But the kids managed to convince their parents to take them along, and thus the easily preventable chaos ensued. Or at least the preventable chaos seen during the first half of the story. From screwing around with the elevators, to screwing around with the breaker box and TV antenna, to even screwing around with the public pool, the parents were getting complaints about their kids and they rightfully punished them by grounding them to the hotel room. Now I will say, in defense of some characters such as Lisa and Lori, their problems were not exactly created through any direct fault of their own, which is more than I can say for characters like Lynn and Lana with the elevators and Lincoln and Lucy during their ghost hunt. I mean, I understand the kids acting rowdy is a natural part of the series and them causing mayhem isn't anything new. However, what annoys me about their behavior in the first half of the episode is they promised their parents they would act as if they weren't even there, and barely a few minutes go by before they start doing the opposite of what they promised. Be that as it may, I'm actually a little more lenient with them during the second half of the story. Besides the actions taken by Lincoln and Lucy that resulted in car damage, everything else that happened in the hotel room wasn't really instigated by the kids being stupid or reckless. A lot of what happened wasn't really their fault, and they were at least trying their best to fix whatever problems they had before everything spiraled out of control. Of course, everything did spiral out of control, and they believed they were the reasons why they got kicked out of the hotel. Although the real reason for why they were kicked out had more to do with the parents getting busted for night swimming without their swimsuits, among other late-night adult activities. But regardless, the kids decided to make things right by turning their living room into their own spa resort and then going to Aunt Ruth's like they had originally planned to in the beginning, thus giving their parents the weekend they truly deserved. I really liked that moment because they openly acknowledged the problems they created and learned a lesson as a result. Some other positives included their little skit to convince their parents to let them come to the hotel, especially the scene with the girls dressed up as cats, Lola booking the entire massage facility for her and her stuffed animals, and Lenny believing she was actually a front desk worker named Fritz, even after her dad figured out she was the one calling about the Loud kids causing trouble. This positive about Lenny is a little mixed because while this was another season 2 example of her being presented as more simple-minded than usual, I just liked how serious she was about her job, and she technically displayed a certain level of competence and compassion in doing what was supposedly expected of her. The last things I want to bring up are some plot holes. First, why would Lily be allowed to go to Aunt Ruth's if it was stated in the episode 2 Boys and a Baby that she couldn't be trusted around the cats? Second, Lana didn't seem very excited to go to or even do anything discussing at Aunt Ruth's when it was shown in the 2 Boys episode that she's the only one who enjoys being there. And finally, Lenny as Fritz tells everyone they have to leave when it's still daylight, but the security cameras catching the parents potentially doing the nasty in the swimming pool shows that it's nighttime. In fact, the parents were dripping wet when they were shown the footage, which would indicate they got busted the same night they jumped in the pool. This greatly conflicts with most of the episode because it's implied the family arrived at the hotel and then got kicked out when it was still daylight, basically not even being there for a full day. The final few seconds make you believe their time at the hotel was spread out over the course of 2 days, but that's a little hard to believe. Maybe it's a plot hole, maybe there's a bigger picture that I'm not seeing, but it's still a head scratcher nonetheless. Overall, this episode can be rather annoying during the first half because of the kids breaking their promise and causing problems for everyone at the hotel, but they redeemed themselves during the second half by trying to prevent any further issues and then making amends by giving their parents the private getaway they were expecting from the start, which of course would include more adult activities in the makeshift hot tub as suggested just as the episode was about to end. As for the parents themselves, the best thing I can say about them is they were right to originally not bring their kids to the hotel. You do feel bad for them to a degree when their hotel experience was getting ruined, and they had the power to avoid the conflict altogether. But hey, then we wouldn't have had an episode at all, and that would have been worse than sitting through more of Luann's elevator jokes and ghost leg puns. In short, this episode is less than okay. It's stupid, but not as much as I once thought, and just not as great as most say it is, but that's just my opinion. With that said, I give Sweet and Sour a 6.8 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Sweet and Sour. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.